Okay, so we just got home from another movie date. This time we went to see the new D&D movie. So, for those who don't know, other than being a superhero nerd.
Finish your sentence.
I was expecting you to say something.
No, I'm waiting for you to finish your sentence.
I play D&D a lot. I've been a DM for a long time. I'm old. Shut up. But knowing this movie was coming out, I was very skeptical because the past two D&D movies have been horrible. One was direct to DVD.
I'm just surprised they didn't delay the release date to keep true to form.
But this movie, D&D Honor Among Thieves, was phenomenal. I loved every second of it. I honestly have not enjoyed a movie in a long ass time and actually want to watch it a second time.
That is the highest compliment from you. My one and only complaint is I kept wanting to refer to the wrong character as Simon, because I'm not even going to try to say his name. I can't say it. It's French. I should be able to say it because I've studied French.
You talk about the Paladin?
Yes. I can't say his name. Love him though. Played Simon in Bridgerton, therefore I kept wanting to call him Simon, even though he doesn't play Simon in this movie. He plays another character.
And then Simon is the name of the wizard.
Yes. He's
or
still
sorcerer.
fantastic though. Like, absolutely fantastic. The Paladin was the best part of the movie, and I usually don't like the Paladin. They're usually boring, but I love this one.
So, the Paladin, showed off his badassery. But anyway, so this whole show is about spoilers, so spoilers ahead. So the whole movie is about the Bard, played by Chris Pine, who is wanting to, gain his life back when his wife is his wife is killed.
Basically, he did a Pirates of the Caribbean thing, stole treasure he shouldn't have, and the consequences caught up with him and killed his wife.
I'm mad you compared it to pirates, but yeah.
He stole a piece of gold he shouldn't have that had some magical tracking for magical fuckery to happen. It's the same concept.
So yeah, basically his wife dies. He's forced to, raise his daughter on his... I wouldn't say on his own, because the barbarian...
He's on his own for a little bit until he gets blackout drunk in the pub with the baby, and the barbarian comes along and basically goes, "Oh, you poor soul, let me just help you out of here."
And then they end up becoming like a brother and sister type relationship.
I am so glad that didn't end up as a romance. I am so glad. They could have made it...
Yeah.
Like, so the Bard and the Barbarian are the two main leads, and they've bonded and formed this found family kind of brother-sister thing over raising his kid together, and they could have so easily, because they start off with the whole "I would never," they're like family, they could have so easily shoehorned in a romance there, and they didn't, and she actually flirts with someone else in the end because she has a type, and honestly, that's the one thing I'm not going to spoil for you, because it's funny. She has a type, he's not it, and I love that they didn't force it.
But, so, basically, the essential plot is this group of thieves, like 2 years prior, before they get...
Before the events of the movie.
Yeah. They get betrayed by, the villain of the movie. And then 2 years later, they learn more about that betrayal and realize that the betrayal is worse than what they thought it was.
Like, they had a vague suspicion it was a betrayal, but they couldn't confirm it until they got out of prison. The funniest fucking part is when they make their prison break and the guy that just yells, "But we approved your parole!" Like, you didn't have to break out. You could have done this on the up and up.
So they're trying to wait till the avian...
you don't know who they're waiting for until he walks in with wings, and then Chris Pine tackles him out the fucking window.
So, this avian guard or high council member just has to, save them because he's going to get hurt if he doesn't.
Yeah, so you're thinking when they first start talking about we gotta wait for this guy. Is this a friend who's gonna pull some strings, get him out? Is he gonna have some magical, whatever the fuck to get them out? No, they just figured out one of the council members had wings and went, I bet we could tackle this guy out the window and use him as a glider.
So, the barbarian, she doesn't really go through... she's a barbarian fighter. You could tell she's a multi-class.
Yeah.
She doesn't really have a main character arc. I think the character that has the biggest arc is Simon.
Biggest power payoff on the arc, though I think the Bard definitely... I gotta look up his name again. The Bard definitely has the biggest... Yeah.
Or something like that.
Ed something or other. He has the biggest character arc. Simon has the biggest power character arc.
Well, you could tell that he's not as selfish as he puts on the front.
Yes,
so
but that very ending decision on what to do with that tablet, that was his character arc.
So part of what they're trying to do is...
Edgin. That's what it is.
Edgin. He has a tablet of...
Yeah, so the guy who betrayed them and the sorceress who betrayed them told him that there was this tablet of resurrection or whatever it was called in the place where they got caught.
Reawakening,
yeah, thank you. And that's what they were going after because he's trying to revive his wife, except the whole time he phrases it, his daughter's name's Kira, the whole time he phrases it, he's trying to get Kira's mom back. Well, we're spoiler heavy here, so... Spoilers ahead. If you haven't dipped out now for spoilers, you've been fucking warned because here comes the big one. Holga, who's the barbarian who's helped him raise this kid, gets stabbed at the end, and there's nothing that Simon, who has now found his magical ability, can do because it's
a red wizard blade.
Yeah, red wizard blade.
Which, if you're stabbed with it,
there's nothing he can do, but... So she's gonna die, but this tablet can bring her back. And he's gone through this whole movie, I have to bring Kira's mom back. And then he realizes, and he locks eyes with Kira, he is going to bring her mom back. And he brings back Holga.
But I think Simon, him trying to merge with the helmet.
He punched himself in the face.
I've been waiting.
And just immediately, I'm sorry.
So the whole Simon's...
I feel Simon on a spiritual level.
Simon's whole deal is that he does not believe that he's as powerful as he actually is.
Yeah.
And he's got very low self-esteem and he's got very low expectations of himself.
I felt very attacked by that character. I don't know why.
You autistic motherfucker. But...
Did I ever tell you about the time I traumatized my therapist by how filled with self-doubt I am?
Yes.
Yeah, that was fun. That was the day I found out you could traumatize a therapist.
But yeah, so his whole story arc is that he's the only one that has the abilities to fuse with the helmet that they end up going on a quest for, and he doesn't think he can do it.
Which is where not Simon pulls out his badassery, and I love him.
So it turns out that his power increases when he's in trouble. And he never realized it.
Because didn't they say he was more attuned to wild magic? Didn't Edgin figure out that?
Correct. Which
is why it never worked. He had to recognize that it was wild magic and not whatever the fuck he was trying to do.
Yeah, so he was just like, spell, spell, spell.
Zank. I'm just going to call him that because I still can't say his name. That's a paladin.
Oh. So the paladin is one of the characters that helped them get this helmet, where they have to fight the most adorable dragon.
Chubby dragon.
Like, oh my.
It literally rolls because it's 2 fat teams and legs.
Like, I don't understand why they went with this, but the dragon is so
merch.
fucking...
That's why they did it, because I would sell my left kidney for a, like, 3 to 4 foot plush of that fat ass dragon. I want it so bad.
Legit, this, like, so pudgy.
I will fucking sell you my left kidney if you get me a fucking child size plush of that dragon, alright? That offer's out there.
But it's adorable, and if you haven't seen the movie, you...
Like, the whole time we're supposed to be, like, tense and suspenseful because they're, about to get eaten, but I'm just sitting there going, oh, chubby! It's a chunky dragon!
Like, the dragon's so fat it gets stuck in multiple things. And if I decide to review this, my brain was just like, it's a weeble wobble.
And part of it, they make their escape because they go up onto a higher platform and you just see it kind of...
Like, I gotta get you!
It can't use his wings because it's too big.
It was adorable!
I love dragons so much. We've officially spent more time on the fucking dragon than any of the plot. The dragon's in the movie for like 10 minutes, y'all, but I fucking love that thing.
But, so, like I said, the plot is essentially... So this group, they find out that the person that was trying to betray them is working with a wizard who is essentially trying to end the world by raising an army of zombies.
That whole power motive ploy that I've never gotten. Yes, you will get unlimited power. To do what with? I really need you to have a motivation further than I want to rule the world, because that's kind of a lame motivation.
I mean...
But that's just a personal
thing. It's D&D demon.
Yeah, that's true. So, emotional plot is found family. Plotty plot is we accidentally helped a sorcerer almost take over the world. Whoops, let's fix this.
Yeah, so, one of the friend that, he was hilarious throughout the whole movie. Just
the guy that double-crossed them?
Yeah,
God, yes.
So, basically, within the 2 years that they're separated in jail, and some of them are in jail, some of them are living their own lives.
Yeah, that would be Hugh Grant playing Forge.
Yeah, so Forge makes himself this massive politician, and to be honest, he acts just like Trump.
No, because he actually has some charm.
Good point.
You need to stop comparing everyone to him. No, because he actually has charm. I don't know if there's a real world... No, there is a real world politician I can compare him to, but I gotta go back a few hundred years. Picture a Medici really high on whatever the fuck they're smoking in Italy back then, and just charming the pants off of everybody, but secretly, having everyone poisoned behind their back. He's a Medici in a Dungeons and Dragons campaign. That's what he is. If we're going real world politics, he's a Medici.
Okay.
I probably offended a lot of Italians, I'm sorry, but you got it, a lot of them were crazy. Then again, Italy used a lot of old Roman architecture, which meant a lot of lead pipes, so I'm sure a lot of people were crazy. Anyway.
Either way, but he was one of the sources of comedy and would constantly, joke after joke. Like, when they first realize he's the one that's betraying him, and the fucking wizard sucks them into the floor. Now you're in the floor!
This is wonderful.
I
would also like to point out, everyone was in a different genre of movie. Hugh Grant was the villain in a Bond movie.
Just the over-the-top, cheesy cheese fest.
Yeah, the big bad, hold on. Where'd she go? Sophina and Zank were in a high fantasy.
Sophia was
Edgin
great.
was in a found family kind of rom-com-ish. Holga was just in a cheesy 80s barbarian movie.
Conan.
Conan called. He wants his extra bad.
Well, with it being female, it would be Red Sonja.
Yeah. We haven't even mentioned Doric yet.
Doric
is
adorable.
I love her. Little tiefling druid. That's what I'm doing in my next campaign. I'm just being Doric. She's amazing.
Make your own druid.
No, fuck you. I'm being Doric.
The owlbear. Douche, douche, douche,
Okay,
douche, douche.
I have two Okay. Before I get into my complaint, the ending scene between Doric and Sophina, it's literally just fucking copy-paste Hulk smashing Loki on the ground at the end of Avengers. It's basically what happened.
Just a picture an owlbear picking up a wizard going douche, 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 douche,
Okay,
douche.
she's dead. I think you got her.
Douche.
Okay, so back to my one and only complaint, other than I kept wanting to call the wrong character Simon. I really think that romance was a little shoehorned. So Simon's kind of been flirting with her the whole time. Well,
See,
not quite shoehorned.
I don't think it's shoehorned. You just like to put gay relationships where they are.
If you would let me finish the sentence that I was going to say, please and thank you. Not quite shoehorned, just, I don't know. I would have to see it more before I actually, really... I don't feel like they expanded on it enough.
But
they definitely expanded on it enough for her kind of grudging, okay, I guess.
But that's the thing. They weren't focused on the relationship at that, because the relationship didn't
Alright,
need
Miss
to
Critic, are you really going to tell me that I can't complain about things being
I'm not
expanded
complaining.
on?
I'm saying that your outlook on it is it wasn't explained enough. Just like in the 65 where, things didn't need to be explained.
You also keep cutting me off mid-sentence. It wasn't my favorite part of the movie. I'm unsure how I feel about it. I can kind of go either way on it. It can either be expanded upon and be super cute. Could be a little shoehorned. I also kind of want to see if there's a sequel and if they're just...
As far as...
And if Simon's, again, just, not in her good graces and she's like, yeah, I gave you a shot, though. And he's like, yeah, fair point.
As far as I know, it's supposed to be the first of a series. I don't know if the series is going to follow the same characters, or if they're going to be if they're going to be like the original novels in the 90s, where each novel focused on a separate set of characters within the universe. Yeah. Like the MCU would do. I think those novels are...
I will say, if they are focused on a different set of characters, I really need all of the characters from this one in the background. Like, you just maybe see Simon and Doric just sitting at a table in a tavern. And you see,
You mean like the reference in the maze fight?
The one that you picked up on that I didn't know
So,
you were freaking out about.
Those of you who, are old and watch the old 80s Dungeons and Dragons cartoon... If you look throughout there's a scene where they get put into this game where they're forced through a maze filled with creatures that are all trying to kill them. At one point, they get to the middle of the maze and this group of people have been trapped in a cage, and that group of people are all of the characters from the 80s cartoon. They don't have any lines. They don't say anything.
They just stand there and look concerned.
But they are 100% in those outfits.
See,
down to the fact that the fucking barbarian child has his club out.
And one of them was wearing glasses, which was the moment I'm like, this has to be a reference to something, because this looks so slapped together 80s.
Mm-hmm. The wizard... the wizard is the one who wears glasses. The one with the green hat. The
one who looks like he's literally just wearing a Halloween costume from the fucking drugstore.
Yeah. So, they're literally... And what's funny is they don't even let this group of people... They don't even let the characters out of the cage. They just
The door was cracked. It was at one point. I don't know if they left it that way.
It didn't look cracked, or I didn't see it, but they literally just walk away like, fuck y'all.
Yeah, so the only line they get is looking concerned as these other people are running away, like, what do they know that we don't know?
It was funny.
So, favorite and least favorite character?
My least favorite character is probably the villain, the wizard, there's nothing, there's no motivation, there is no character trait other than I'm an evil bitch trying to...
That is kind of the charm of it, though, because I agree he is the least strong character.
She? I'm talking about the wizard.
Okay, I was talking about the other, her lackey. Yeah, no, she's completely one-dimensional, and I kind of love that, because that's totally how D&D campaigns go.
Sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes you get a really well-thought-out, bad guy who's got a great motivation, and sometimes you just get, all of y'all are pissing me off, it's TPK time, fuck you. So sometimes you get that one-dimensional, and that's kind of the great thing about Dungeons & Dragons, is as long as you've got enough, three-dimensional characters to carry the story, you can get away with a lot of bullshit and nonsense that otherwise would not make sense.
And make your fucking DM and make your fucking DM facepalm like y'all like to make me do.
The hell would you do if we had done that fucking hither portal into the fucking moving carriage?
I would have allowed it because it would have been funny. Though, so that scene, so what they're trying to do is they're trying to get into this vault that they don't realize is actually empty when they get into it. But there's this vault, and they find, apparently Holga has had this staff the entire time, not knowing what it does, but because
She just nicked it off a wizard, she didn't check.
But because Simon's a sorcerer and knows what it is, he can use it. But it's basically...
After he accidentally destroys Bridge.
But it's basically a portal gun.
It's literally a portal gun. It's
so
a portal gun
shoots,
to make it high fantasy instead of sci-fi.
Yeah, so it's literally just a portal gun. And they use it really well by making it part of a mirror so that they could...
It was painting, but yeah.
They turn the painting into a mirror, basically.
They turn a painting into a portal.
Whatever. But, so they use it by sneaking the painting into the group of treasures that they're supposed to be winning. But, the politician guy ends up...
Yeah, because he's got his own planning to run away and abscond with all the treasure while evil sorceress lady does her thing. Oh, that reminds me. Who's your favorite character?
Honestly, it's a toss-up between the bard and the barbarian. Because, when the barbarian needed a fight, she was the best part of the fights.
Oh my god. She was amazing.
She took on, just like a normal barbarian would, took on massive rooms of
her
fucking
reaction when
knights
she
and
pulled
shit.
the axe.
I'll take that.
I'm not upset by that. Because her axe, melted into this really cool fucking demonic looking shape. It was great.
Yeah.
I don't really know who my favorite was, because I keep going back. I love the Paladin. I love saying so much.
I feel like if they do make a direct sequel to this, that his daughter is going to end up being the group's rogue.
She is absolutely a rogue.
Because
she got raised by a couple of thieves. What else could she be?
Yeah, because she's got a pendant that allows her to turn invisible, which ends up saving the fucking day.
And we shall not reveal how, because that was brilliant, and I did not see that coming.
Either did I, to be honest.
Which, again, because it's so like an actual D&D campaign. I feel like the script writing was, here's the plot, I'm assigning each of you writers a character, now play. I feel like that's how it was written.
Honestly...
And if they didn't do that, that's even more impressive.
And honestly, I feel like this movie was written by actual D&D players.
If the writers didn't know D&D and play it going in, they learned while they were writing.
The original Dungeons & Dragons movie, while it's a fantasy movie, it does not feel like Dungeons & Dragons. It just feels like another fantasy movie. This feels like you are actually watching a group of people play the game that you just lost by watching this video.
But that was just the best part. Every character completely, I'm not kidding, felt like they were in a different genre of movie. but not in the part where some movies do that and it's just terrible because of it, but because it felt so much like a real campaign. Every D&D campaign has the one who thinks they are like Gandalf in a fucking high fantasy, and the other one who's here just
Alex.
kind of fucking around. No, he forgets he has magic.
Alex!
You
you compared him to Gandalf. Gandalf doesn't do shit through half the movie and usually just...
No, he's Drax. Not Gandalf. But you got someone who's fucking Guardians of the Galaxy, Peter Quillin it up over here. Wrong Chris in this movie, but that's basically who was the Peter Quill here. You got fucking Gandalf, who in this case I guess is a paladin. He's the closest to the Gandalf player. You got Simon's the player who's learning. Simon's the player who goes through the whole campaign. I can't do this. I don't know. Why did we make me the big magical person when I've never played before? I'm supposed to carry this? What are we doing? And then halfway through figures out what he's doing.
And then figures out, oh, I can do this and this and
He's
this.
me when I look over my spell sheet and go, wait, I can do what? Hold up a minute, I got an idea.
Yeah. I love when you get those in game.
Or after I've, whoops, I accidentally stepped on the bridge that you were just explaining very thoroughly.
Speaking of the bridge.
We get over.
Speaking of the bridge.
Oh, that was so funny.
So, one of the things with DMs, they throw in all these things to, throw puzzles and shit like that. And there's a part where they get to a bridge, go right back to that dragon that we were talking about. But the paladin's sitting here explaining, we have to do this, this, and this, and this. If you touch this stone,
complicated.
If you touch this stone, then this will fall apart and all this.
And Simon's over.
Just like a DM would do. And he just steps on this. He acts like a player.
He was just casually leaning, like, do I really have to listen to this? And then he leans over and then
acts like a player would, and just steps on one piece and, destroys the entire bridge. And then that's when they find out they've got the fucking portal stick.
Why does Holga just always have potatoes? Holga is the player who's just constantly holding weird shit in her bag. Like, why do you have that?
Like a current ex-player who would always have food on them.
God. That was your fault because you let that be OP as shit.
I didn't realize how OP I had made that item.
But there's always that one player who's new and doubting their abilities, the one who's just kind of fucking around but ends up being the soul of the story, the one who thinks they're Gandalf in a high fantasy, the one who just wants to hit things and for some reason has random odd shit in their bag, and the one who is actually competent but kind of sits in the background to let everyone else play because they're like, I'm just here to Deus Ex Machina your asses out of the shit, and yes, I'm talking about Thoric.
Yeah, I'm the Holga player.
When
I actually play.
You are the Smashy.
And you're the one that's hidden behind everything.
I'm Simon. I'm just going to be honest here. I'm the one sitting there halfway through the campaign going, what the fuck am I doing? I don't know what I'm doing. Why did I sign up for this? Who let me do this? Why am I the one that is depending on this? And then I go, wait a minute.
Until you're the hidden character and I teach you how to play the character that you're supposed to be.
And Doric, honestly, I still haven't figured out
the owlbear.
That was amazing. I still haven't figured out what the fuck he was supposed to be in this campaign because it never finished. But Doric is
the experienced player that's letting everyone else fuck around while...
Doric is my old manager from Books Million when he played a game that... Never play a D&D game with like 8 players. 8 to 10. I don't remember how many we had. Too fucking much.
I won't play more than 4 players.
Most of us were new, so he was the Deus Ex Machina over there in the corner to kind of get us out of shit, because I'm over here trying to fucking break shit and like, oh, I'm the bard. I'm going to be Chris Pine over here playing the lute and distracting everyone when we all go steal shit. And then he's like, the door's open. You don't have to distract anyone. We kind of got it. We can just leave. Oh, okay. I was ready to murder. That's fine.
But... like I said, the movie is great. It feels like an actual D&D adventure, and it feels like the movie was written for D&D fans, and not just a bunch of idiots in a writing room like DC.
There is a very common problem in Hollywood where they need book slappers. This one did not need book slappers.
Yeah.
If you don't know what that is, basically anytime you've seen a book to movie adaptation where you sit there going, that is not right, someone just slapped you in the face with the book.
Yeah. It feels like the people writing it actually cared about what was being created and said, oh, this is going to make money because this has this name on it.
I feel like there's a scale on book to movie adaptations, which I'm kind of going to count this as a book to movie adaptation, sort of. It's in the same vein. But there's a scale of adaptations that goes from Aragon to Lord of the Rings. This was up with Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, and Aragon. No, we don't talk about Aragon. The books or the movie.
No, the one we really don't talk about is Golden Compass, because no one ever even brings that one up. That one's just too bad to mention.
Then why'd you mention it?
To make you remember that they fucked that whole movie by focusing too much on Nicole Kidman. And not the actual plot.
I mean, she was the only interesting part about that.
That's because that's the only part they focused on. Anyway.
But if you're a D&D fan, check it out. I understand we butted heads, but, you know, that's
what we do, because I want considerably more gay than there ever is, and I get annoyed when I immediately headcanon a character as a lesbian.
She has the knack of, even if the character does not show any sort of LGBT, this character's gay in my eyes.
It's more like I acknowledge that it's just I want them to be. I'm not trying to say she definitely is. I'm just saying that character sets off my gaydar and it would be nice.
She might be pan, but the relationship...
Of course she's pan. She's a druid. You walked into that.
You really had to end this with a fucking...
With a Greek mythology pun? Yes.
Why?
Yes, I did. You married me.
But, yeah. Like I said... If you're a D&D fan, just watch.
Even if you're not, watch the movie. I don't care if you hate fantasy and D&D and think the whole thing's terrible. Just watch the fucking movie.
I personally give it a 9 out of 10, and that's a high rating for me.
And I just like things and don't care about ratings.
Well,
10 out of 10,
you're not the
20
critic,
out of 10.
are you?
I know. You're the critic, I'm the I like things.
I will admit I have been trying to enjoy movies a lot more. It's hard when it comes to the superhero stuff because...
I got an idea for a challenge video.
What?
We have to do a review of The Black Cauldron and you can't say anything bad. That'll be my job. You have to say good things. Let us know in the comments if you want us to do that. It might actually break her.
Are you requesting that to be an episode of this?
Yes, where we switch roles and I have to say what's wrong with it and you have to say only what's good about it.
I don't like The Black Cauldron.
We're doing it.
That's the nicest.
Stay tuned.
That is the nicest thing I could say about this movie.
The nicest thing you can say about it is that it's not to your taste. We'll work on it.
The art is fine.
See, you're getting it.
Why?
We're doing it. Stay tuned, folks.
Oh my god.
You gotta turn the camera off, honey.
Can it wait till after our trip?
Yes. Yes, it can.
My wife just wants to torture me.
A little bit.
Thank you for watching.